Alright, welcome back. We are back to the battle incident at Qatari. A hypothetical situation didn't actually happen in my actual campaign. The Suran patrol craft let the Endurance and the Intrepid go. Just said leave our system, but to test out some space combat rules. Already did the Mongoose Traveler 1, and the Suran decisively blew away the Endurance, mainly because of missiles. And then I've tried now the Cepheus rules, and I've done one round. I did something kind of wrong, so I had to redo the round, which gave entirely different results. But at the end of round one, and I said the Intrepid didn't participate, or no, I threw him in. Okay, 3 breach hits. But at the end, the only real damage done to either side was the sensors on the Suran were disabled, preventing the sensor lock advantage, which would help with their missiles. You didn't have to roll to lock onto the target. The missiles automatically launch and just go. It's a 2-step process with this rules. In Mongoose, as soon as you launched them, because we were at close range, they hit. Here you've got the launch turn, and then the following turn, whoever the target is has a chance at the end of their turn, they have a chance to evade. Then you roll to see if the missiles hit. But like I said, at the end of round one, the only real damage out there besides breaches was the sensor system on the Suran was down. Okay, so it moved to round two here, and each round is 6 minutes. Suran rolled high boxcars, but the Endurance kept up with it and tied for position. They both had 15. The Intrepid was second, but the main battle right now is between the Suran patrol craft and the Endurance, and the Intrepid is just jumping in to help out their friends. So the Endurance gets to attack with the tie. I just kind of made a rule. They don't have rules. It's up to the referee. I said the Endurance fired first just because they had position last time, but with a tie of position, I think that gives a DM -2. And try to do attack vector, got a +1, and you see the -2, the +1 gunner. Basically only had one hit, the other 2 plasmas missed. But that one turns into 3, and this was an awesome hit. They took 1 hit on electronics, which does -2 now on piloting and gunnery. That's pretty and then they took out the missile launcher. So that was a great shot there. The Suran came in, the captain didn't get lead, the pilot couldn't get attack vector, sensor couldn't do anything. The engineer goes for the missiles to repair and rolls boxcars. So the missiles are back up real quick, but they'll fail in 4 hours, but this battle will be long over by then. So the gunner missile had a DM -2 position. Both of them did with a tie. No lock. DM -2 for position with the laser barbette. They rolled a 2. Total no lock. No lock for the missiles. And the laser just shot into who knows where. Okay. So they're not doing too good. And now the Intrepid joins in, but all 3 misses. But the engineer successfully redlined the engine, giving him a 1G increase for next turn. So they're getting into the battle. All right, round 3. Now this electronics, well, the weapon got fixed. So right now, the sensor and electronics right now. Sensor and electronics. Rounds 3, let's see, they got a good position over the Endurance. That's their main target, so they're going to get a -1 DM. And the Endurance is going to get a -3, but the Intrepid got position over the Suran, probably because the Suran's not watching them, or doesn't really care about them. So the Intrepid's first, and Captain Burnett got a successful attack vector. Mary failed at the sensor lock. The engineer tried to overcharge the weapon and succeeded. So it's all up to Bob, and with the 3 lasers, what did he get? 1 hit. +1 for the overcharging, so 2 hits. And it's a weapon in a breach, and this time took out the laser. I just did a odds missile evens laser, and this time the laser's out. So now the Suran situation is electronics degraded, and that's going to be the key one. Well, a number of them. So Suran's got some problems there. Suran keeps on taking on the Endurance, and remember the laser's out. TR+1, so got an attack vector, success, got a big captain leading +3 DRM. The engineer can't fix the electronics, and the gunner takes the shot, and this time the gunner gets a lock on with the missiles, even with the electronics -2. And so 3 missiles have been launched on the way to the Endurance. And then the Endurance takes a shot. DM -3, not in a good position anymore, +1 gunner. And then DM -2, forgot what that was for, but plasma, all missed. Every one of them missed. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, that was the result, DM -2. Every one of these missed. Not very impressive here between these two, but so the big thing coming out of this round is round 3 is that the Suran was able to get a lock on the Endurance to launch the missiles. So they got 3 missiles in the air, and the lasers degraded though. And this electronics is going to come back to bite them because the next effect is bad. Yeah, and the Intrepid now is playing its part. It took out the laser on the Suran. So they're succeeding here. Let's look at round 4 now. Who gets the advantage? The Suran definitely gets the advantage now over the Endurance and the Intrepid. So this is such a big difference, 14-10, that's like 4 or 5. Actually get a +1 versus the Endurance. Captain leads, gets another +1. Attack vector fails, sensors disabled. Engineer can't fix the electronics, not Scotty. So again, the missiles launch, rolled a 10, even with all the modifiers. That means the second set of 3 missiles have a lock on and are on their way to the Endurance. So we got 6 missiles in the air. And then we go to the Endurance and we resolve the, let's see what we got here. Yeah, we resolve the missiles on the Endurance. Well, we will at the end of this down here. Actually, the Endurance pilot vector, attack vector gets a 12 +5 DRM. So that's the big one right here. Actually, this is the big one for the Endurance. And all plasmas hit. It's a total of 9 hits, 3 weapons, and an electronics. Pretty much that's it. Both weapons mounts have had 2 hits each. They're really out of commission. The second electronics hit has basically made, let's look at that, the second electronics hit. Here we go. Second hit, the electronics are disabled. The ship cannot make any piloting or computer rolls. Cannot maneuver. It loses any benefits from software. Manual gunnery, DM -4. Well, that's irrelevant because both weapons mounts have been taken out. The electronics are down. But the only thing they can do is maybe punch out. So this has definitely these plasma hits here pretty much taken this out of action. So they're out of action, but now the 3 hits come, the 3 missiles, and each missile, they didn't take evasive action. So each missile is 1d6 of hits. I had to see it to believe it. I rolled 3 1s. So Endurance dodged that bullet, but both of them were valid hits on weapons. So pretty much they've only got 1 weapon. They've been defanged. So right now the Endurance's problem is it has no weapons, while the Suran ship has no weapons and the electronics are disabled. If it was just those 2, I don't know what they're going to do, but The Intrepid's in there. So round 5, position, and at this point, since the Suran's, the endurance doesn't really matter. So I roll for position, and the Suran barely gets position. Okay, and the Suran rolls to disengage. It's an opposed roll. With the modifiers, they win, so they immediately leave. And then we have to resolve the last 3 missiles coming to the Endurance. This time does a pilot evade, gets a 1, but all 3 hit. 14 hits. Well, but out of those 14, 3 are weapon and 3 are breach. So that's about it. The Suran runs. The Endurance really can't do anything, and the Intrepid has decided that discretion is the better part of valor and is not going to, well, at this point they lost the disengage roll, so the Suran, I guess, still has 4G versus 2G on thrust, so the Suran leaves the site. So interesting, very cinematic, a lot of narrative here. I don't know what the strategy is. I mean, this is a little, well, a lot more interesting than the Mongoose one, especially since the crews are participating. But basically, the Suran patrol craft and the Endurance disabled each other. They took out each other's weapons, but the bigger problem the Suran has is their electronics are down hard. So they just want to get out of Dodge, just hit the drives and go 4G and leave everybody behind. Yeah, and the Intrepid can't pursue. I mean, Intrepid's got 2G, 3G with a red line. So the Suran is able to turn and leave. I think the Suran was 3G, but that's still enough. The Endurance is not going to pursue because the Endurance has all its weapons are out of commission. So, and I didn't get any crew hits, so I don't think there were any casualties through this whole thing. So that is the end of the incident of Qatari using the Cepheus rules. I'm tempted going forward that these may be for small battles. This may be the go-to combat rules. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I'm going to look at the GURPS one. It's actually similar to Mayday from GDW and see if it's worth trying those out. But this was pretty interesting. And 5 minutes, so that whole battle took a little under 30 minutes in real life for them. So anyway, if you got any comments, appreciate it. If you like, click like, subscribe for the next one. And like I said, the next one will either be me trying out the GURPS rules on Hex Encounter via Vassal, or moving on and continuing with the campaign with our crew of the Intrepid, jumping to the next unexplored system. So thanks for listening.